brothers and sisters, generals, those who've been riding along, current subscriber, new subscriber, anybody that view, I salute you and thank you. And as I always do, man, may that great divine just be in our life and protect us and keep us prospering, and just gotta put that great energy out there, put it into existence, no doubt, no nothing, no so-called fear, and welcome to another edition of EBX discussion. And I always gotta honor thy ancestors, and far and near that passed that gift down to many great brothers and sisters who are warriors out here. Real talk. It's a wonderful space to be in, and but it, again, it takes work to get to a place of peace where we can teach oneself and then begin to teach others. It's a wonderful thing, but like I said, it takes work, Gotta stick with that reality. That's what keep us blazing through the valley, as my son and I discussed yesterday. And on a father and son discussion, we finally got together and talked, and it was a great conversation. And it's been a while because he's working, and we spoke on that, our jobs and experiences, and just gave a little insight and vibed off each other's energy righteously, because when we can do that righteously, man, we had spiritual warriors all over the dang on place. So salute to my spiritual warriors out there who take their life serious, appreciate life, and appreciate the knowledge a lot of us have gained, whether brother or sister, family. Salute, and it's good to live in a life of honor, and of course, through the mix of challenges, our human errors, and little bumps here and there. But of course, we in a place of peace, and we studying, and we don't have no toxicity in our life. I mean, none, so we can breeze and blaze through this so-called valley. And then we come into greater vision and better living. And that's the lead off of what my son, I'm gonna keep going with what we were speaking on in that podcast. It was kind of based on the valley, ways to get out the valley, to deal with things while we're in the valley, but knowing when we're out of the valley, and just being aware of ourselves. And he and I spoke on is not missing the message in life. Brothers and sisters, I beg of you, don't miss the message that can help us in life, those pivotal points in our life to catapult us, and I'm not talking about no deep spiritual thing, just a human thing. Don't miss prime opportunities to make us better in life, or opportunity to do something for someone else, even just because we can. In my opinion, in one's theory, we always say what we put out, what we get back, right? So we put out as much good energy as we can to that universe so it can come back, and not just for ourselves, brothers and sisters, as you hear me say all the time, a righteous ripple effect. Somebody like to quote from my cousin, L'Oreal Lyrical, may she rest in peace and in power. Something she used to tell me, and it stuck with me. Great divine gives us gifts for a moment to cultivate it and appreciate it, and make sure we're true and we're somewhat aligned as brother, sister, and family. And then when we know that we are right, our energy is right, whether that gift is positive word or something physical, a gift, once we are right within ourselves, because the great divine gives us free will to work on ourselves, to make ourselves better, because it feels better when it's natural, So going back to what my cousin, L'Oreal Lyrical, said, gifts that we get from that great divine are meant to be shared at some point, because it'll help us feel better. We're fulfilled within, and we help other generals, whether brother or sister, family, young or older, in any kind of way. Positive word, showing we care, reaching out. It's wonderful. It's better in person, of course. Human contact is always better. But even if we can't, at least reach out, talk, text, whatever. Just let a family member know that we care, the best way we can. Again, we're not trying to be this perfect brother and sister or family, but we can always and forever have what? Great divine intentions. And we have that vision within, and we speak things into existence. That's another thing my son and I talked about. General Lord Lamont had such a great conversation. We had a ball. We really did. It was beautiful yesterday. And I did go see my son Ethan, salute, as you hear me talk about, and his siblings, and went over there and ate dinner and spend time with the boys. I kind of sat in the room with them. They did kind of play video games a little bit. I play with them sometimes, but just kind of sit back there and chill with them. I drop little jewels on them here and there, but just being present. That's the most beautiful thing a brother and sister can do in one's life. Just be present. Whether you in a relationship, you're in a family, or you're by yourself. Never feel like you alone. If you cling to that force, get off to yourself. If you're feeling, maybe somewhat beat down or feeling somewhat sad, get it to a space to yourself and really get into your subconscious and connect with that divine and say, divine, what is going on? Why is this happening? What do you want me to do? Get it. You'd be surprised what will pop up in our spirit. And I've really been adamant about this. And again, it's not about being this super cosmic person. It's just getting to a part of our brain or our body, mind, body, and soul, that part of us that just lays dormant, that powerful, great part of us, that invincible thinking, not that we as humans are invincible, but we can keep our mind where it won't drift, because nothing is worse than a wandering mind, that doesn't have any purpose, and, sometimes circumstances can do that. That's why we get off to ourselves. Well, as you hear me say a million times, get into meditation and or deep prayer. I'm serious. Because, to prevent us jumping off impulses. That's the main reason why we cling to positive things and staying real with oneself and everyone else, even when it's not easy. I told you I'd be rhyming. I swear I'm always rhyming. But, even when it's not easy, because everything isn't going to be easy. Some things can be challenging, but we study awareness and keep ourselves in a space of awareness so we can be somewhat ready for things that can come. Person, place, thing. Not always negative. It could be positive things. We can kind of be ready for that too. So we won't be too overwhelmed when the good things come. So we'll learn to kind of breathe, appreciate it, and share with others and keep forging forward. And don't let that negative force tap into our ego, so gotta watch that ego thing too, but when we know what we're capable of as brother, sister, family, I'm talking about a gift or something like that, let that work that we put in speak for itself. I made a song called Let That Work Speak for Itself, and just flow and just appreciate life and enjoy the journey. Some I say a lot, there is no destination. There is only one destination in this life that we all can agree on. I don't care where we come from, who we are, what culture, that everyone in this whole life will transition at some point. So that's the only destination. So just enjoy life and do good things while we're here. Enjoy the small victories, like the example I gave when I went to pay my phone bill, the great communication I had with the young sister, how I passed on positive energy to her. And that's something that she'll remember, that she'll remember at least one brother didn't do like some brothers do. I'm not saying all brothers do, but that conditioning, that mindset, and it's wonderful to do that. And she's not the only one. It's a young sister. When I do be on, I don't be on Instagram. It's been a while. But the last time I spoke, really had a good conversation, she was a younger sister too. And I spoke on it in videos actually. And I can't remember her name. And she was and I told her to take care of herself. She was a young beautiful sister, and I never went on there and hit on her or nothing. And just say hi to her. She said hi to me. She never came at me no kind of way. I even told her my age. She even laughed. I said, yeah, I'm a old. I think I said I'm a old. I said I'm a old something. And I said, yeah, I'm a 50-year-old old. I forgot what I said. It was something funny I said to her. I said, yeah, I'm 50. I'm an old bad or some crap I said. She texts back, LOL, so that's the kind of reactions we need to have in life and with brothers, so that's things that people will remember, and I haven't talked to that sister in a minute. I bet if I went in and said hi, boom, she'll answer right away. Cause she ain't no bull coming, she'll remember instantly. Even though I haven't talked to her, it'll come back to her instantly. She'll be like, oh, that's that brother that was real cool. You know what I'm saying? So we got to start right where we are. We can be a hero right in our little communities, in our little spot, right where we are, and work our way out. So I'm always say, start with ourselves, children, family, significant other, and work our way out to the world, to brothers and sisters in the streets, in these schools, stores, gas stations, I don't know, be fierce with our positive energy, greater vision, better living. It's wonderful, but got to put it into practice. So, yeah, I was just excited. I'm glad my son and I did that father and son discussion. There'll be more of them. We'll probably do another one next weekend. And I want to kind of touch on his music, get him back into his music. He been working and stuff and trying to, keep himself stable. And, so it is just wonderful when we come together and vibe, because he really is an intelligent brother. He's been through his valley. He really has. He's, like he said, he at the mountain now. We all can get there. We all have that divine ability. I actually looked that up. Everyone has a divine ability and or skill. It's just that, facts is melanated brothers and sisters. We have a different magnetism, and that's facts. That's shown throughout history. But overall, everyone has a divine ability and or skill. You just got to tap into it. We can't look at who's higher or who's lower. And that's not what Great Divine gives us abilities for. As my son and I talked about, Lord Lamont, everyone has something, someone has something that someone else has. And it's always somebody that can do something that another person can't do, and it all fits together like a puzzle, But of course, evil entities around us has put, especially melanated brothers and sisters. I'm not trying to like kumbaya. I'm just, I always like to use that example. The greatest deception of the devil is to make us think, or all of us think, that it doesn't exist. So I'm using that example. I don't want to get too biblical, but I'm using that example as, like, let's say for instance, I'm gonna bring up this example I heard from a Caucasian guy, and he was just speaking facts, and it wasn't a kumbaya thing. He said Caucasians were also, now this is from a white dude now, not nothing I'm making up. He said that some Caucasians were also misguided and manipulated into thinking that they were superior over other cultures, which when they actually are being enslaved in so many ways too, because if it come down to it, they are casualties of war. I spoke on this before. My son and I both have, and that's just hard facts, but I'm not trying to kumbaya. That's just facts. They are under this. Some of them don't know that they're under deception too. So, because if it come down to it, hey, they can get deleted too. Real talk. But the most weight is on melanated brothers and sisters. But I ain't gonna get too deep into that, because I got to learn more myself. Because I never want to get to a space. That's something I teach my brothers and sisters, generals. Never get to a space where we think we know everything. We speak on things, get our perspectives, but I have to do a little more research in that area. But I have heard some, so. But that's a part of having greater vision, and better living. Again, better living can be good, and it can have little hurdles and bumps in there, because, truth isn't always easy. Sometimes we got to swallow those hard pills like the one I just gave a minute ago. And there's hard truths about our melanated brothers and sisters. We got our heroes, and then we got some that are not heroes. So it's kind of like that on both sides. It's always an enemy somewhere, unfortunately. But what we have to know is who and what the enemy is, or who they are. Real talk, to real enemies, and not fight amongst the ones who's trying to lift up and at least help others to know their soul. I won't say save souls, but help other generals to know that there's a power in them that's just waiting to be manifested. Anyone, as I said, everyone has a great divine ability and or skill or a choice to be righteous. It's always come down to that choice, so it's easy to do. I told my son this, Ethan, it's easy to do something bad. That's easy, but it's challenging to be truthful and be honest and be right, in the midst of a storm. That's when you find out the warrior you are. Like Tyrese. I always say Tyrese is my, we already know who Tyrese is. It's my hero, because he was a man. He showed people that he could cry, and still be a man. And don't feel like we weak because we cry and show some kind of emotion. No, if we know who we are within, that shit don't mean that. No, that's for stupid people. That's that stereotypical shit. So that's why I say Tyrese, my hero. Real talk. So, and I love the brother that he has become. He is becoming to his own. Greater vision, better living. Again, it ain't always easy, but that example right there, that's what gives us better living. Seeing things, that's what better living is. And the good things come too. But being real as brother, sister, family, that's the best living in the whole wide world. Because that kind of living, being true to oneself through the hurdles and the storm, man, it'll bring goodness and peace. We have a lot of those peaceful moments so we can think and assess and reset and keep on going. So, all right, I want to play a couple songs and we're going to get back to speaking on greater vision and better living. And of course, I got to have a couple summaries. I got to read. As I said in the past, reading is good. It's good for our cognitive functions. Keep us sharp and keep our awareness sharp, and it keeps our age good and golden, because that's a reality. Remember, we don't get stuck in false senses of reality. We got to keep a reality. We're not old, but we are getting older. That's a reality. So we do things. We know the body breaks down. We got to watch the things we intake, drink, eat, all that good stuff. It all plays a part in our mind, body, and soul. The physical is just as important as the mental and the spiritual. Most of us are aware. We know this. And as I said, my son and I, Lord Lamont, what we say, and it's to remind me too, mind, body, and soul, see, hear, and feel. One can't work without the other. We have to be in unison with ourselves and brothers and sisters and family, even if we're not near them, even spiritually. Because as I said before, and I say it again, even what we think, harbor deep inside, even when we're by ourselves, does matter, folks. And if you don't think it does, keep poking that bear. Keep having bad thoughts and evil things within. And let me know how that work out for you. Because those of us that have a heightened self-awareness and made it out that valley, we living good over here. And I'm talking about reachers and teachers, families, in the world, online. I'm talking about the righteous warriors out there that's not playing. We kind, but we ain't no punks. We living good. So those who are evil and choose, emphasis on choose, to live in a low vibration, we want to help. We don't like to see those that are reachers and teachers, brother or sister or family in the world, online, whether we have a platform or not. We have been through the suffering stage. We know what it's like to suffer. We don't want to see people suffer, but those have to want to not suffer. I'm talking about those who choose to do bad things and evil things, that are aware of what they're doing and they're healthy. Again, not talking about those who have mental conditions or medical conditions or circumstantial things. I'm saying too many words. I'm trying to put too many words in there, ain't I? But you know what I mean. Those that just don't give a damn, and are aware. I really feel, I'm serious. I feel sorry for individuals like that, but hey, be thankful for the loved ones we do have in our circle and are doing well and striving to do well and making it through that so-called valley that my son and I, Lord Lamont, spoke on. Keep bringing it up because I just had such a good time. You could hear the excitement. I was just talking and talking, but he said he said some very valuable things. He some good jewels and some good advice, I think. So salute to my son, Lord Lamont, my godchildren, my biological children, and all the great families that's holding it together out there. Stay with it. All right, I want to get to a couple of songs, and let's see. I got to see what they were. Of course, I got to play on the computer. And thank those that's been riding along, my generals that's been listening to music, speeches. I got to get back to some book sessions. I just did a hip hop heavy hitter where I gave a tribute to E40 and Fabulous, but somehow I got a copyright on it, and it was up for I don't know how long, almost a week and a half, and all of a sudden I got a copyright, but that's all right. So I'll just kind of speak on them right now. It was a salute to E40, Fabulous, and I think it was Chameleonaire, B.O.B., Erykah Badu, and it was Sugar T, which was on Sprinkle Me, Man, with E40. And I spoke on how I like that song, Record Haters, thon record hating bitches, 12 games of snitches. There's no way you can get with this. Yeah, that was E40. Salute to E40. And Fabulous for that song. This system's automatic. Gotta keep that hustling on your mind. But yeah, I spoke on that. But so I'm speaking on it now. But it was a tribute to them. I had them on the banner and all that. I really went in. It was a dope podcast, but that's all right. We keep it moving, right? As that's what generals do, brother, sister, family. In the world or online. So I'll just give them a little salute now. Again, so salute. And also the Too Short, which was in that video Automatic. Very well made video. I spoke on this before. I did a tribute to Hobson. And I kind of spoke on E40 in that one. And I had about 12 artists in that. So check that out. Tribute I did. Matter of fact, I put that in the end screen. It's a Hobson tribute. Because the very first one was Tech 9. He was number 1. And then I did 6 parts so far. And the last one was Outkast. And number 7 was going to be E40, but it had a copyright. So I had to take it down. So again, salute to E40. Because y'all, if you listen to this channel, you know I love hip hop, man. It's my first love. That's who I'm married to. Yeah. But again, salute to E40, Fabulous, who still got projects. I did a little research. Chameleonaire, if I did I mention Chameleonaire? But Chameleonaire, very brilliant brother. And these are kings of underground, by the way. B.O.B., which is an awakened brother. The stuff that we see and hear now, B.O.B. was talking about way back when. And I gave a salute to Erykah Badu for her being different. And I spoke on how I think she's misunderstood. I think she has tapped into a power that some of us maybe just don't understand, but that's just my opinion. And I think she can rap, she can flow. So that's why I had her on a hip hop heavy hitters list. And that was in that same podcast. And salute to Sugar T, which I think she has projects out there. And I loved her voice in that song, Sprinkle Me. But I just want to give a salute to those artists. And I always said my favorite kings of underground is Tech 9, E40, which I would love to hear those brothers collab. That would be beautiful. Tech 9, E40, Chameleonaire, B.O.B., Exhibit, Master P, Papoose, Hobson, and who else? Who else can I say? These are all brothers I think are kings of underground. There's more on the list. That's just all I can think of right now. Yeah, but I just want to give those artists a salute. In any underground, brother or sister, that's straight raw with that truth and ain't giving in to this so-called matrix. All right, I just wanted to stop on that little segment. We'll call that the heavy hip-hop hitters segment. And that'll kind of be part 7, so because again, they got taken down. But I dropped some jewels in there, and I just wanted to bring that back up. All right. Thank those that's been riding along. I love hip hop. So again, may that great divine be in our children's life, our family's life. Keep us protected and prospering. And that's from my family to your family. And that's our children also. God children and biological children, because I got both. All right, brothers and sisters, let's get to the song. And that leads me right into that great divine. And that's the next song. And the next one after that I'm going to play is We Are Here. We have arrived. The truth is here. It's just a matter of embracing it and using it for good things. Because as my cousin, L'Oreal Lyrical, said, again, what she said stuck with me. Great gifts are meant to be shared, and not to manipulate, trick, or commit any harm. Because life is like a full circle, folks. It always comes back around. I don't know why people don't grasp that, but those who are aware and teaching it to others, like I said, we living good up here on this righteous mountain. So, all right. And my banner here, as you see, I always have something in the sky, in the clouds. We got to keep our mind elevated above the petty shit, and go beyond this little body and be the spiritual beings that divine called us to be. Let's tap into that powerful part of our brain. We all have it. Just a matter of tapping into it. Like my son, Lord Lamont, like him and I said. All right, man, and just bask in the beauty of that great divine. Be back after this. EBX, to my generals. Man, we can feel it. A deep in the spirit. Sometimes we can hear it. The great divine. A man, we can feel it. A deep in the spirit. Sometimes we can hear it. The great divine. A man, we can feel it. A deep in the spirit. Sometimes we can hear it. The great divine.
When we know a power, I can't be stopped. I like spitting jewels on this hip hop. Don't care about the bottom nor the top. To the oneself, take it up another notch. And if you're doing good, man, I give you your props. But sometimes, man, that can mean a lot. All about the message, don't care if it's high. I come up with soul, yeah, on the song. And every time, I drop. A fire is burning deep inside. And I'm about to pop. And to my baby mamas, my daughters and my sons, I face all challenges, never ever run. Look deep within, and we've won. Brothers and sisters, just become one. Feel it in our spirit.
I feel it in our spirit.
And sometimes we hear it. The great divine. Man, we can feel it. Deep in the spirit. Sometimes we can hear it. The great divine. I live by truth, that's what one do. And too many adults that don't have a clue. Don't look at me, look deep in you. And that's how we win and never ever lose. I've been there, done that, not a fucking fool. Life that we have is what we choose. So if you fucking up, wanna hear no boo-hoo. A law of attraction, that is the rule. I've been there too, but I refuse to have the fucking blues. I got to use the righteous tools and become one. It's time to go to school. Feel it in our spirit.
I feel it in our spirit.
Sometimes we can hear it. The great divine. And man, we can hear it. And man, we can feel it. Sometimes we can hear it. I keep on moving on these songs. I gotta do this, that's how I stay strong. Man, and every morning set that tone. Like I say in my speech, I'm a beast. And every time, man, I get up on these beats. I never ever stop, man, I love hip hop. I show that love a lot. I to my family and my children too. I gotta do, man, what I gotta do. But here I stand, trying to be a real man. A positive power with words I'm saying. I got that divine all up in my soul. Wanna raise my family and sisters and bros. So man, we feel it. Deep up in the spirit. And man, we can hear it. The great divine. And man, we can feel it. Deep up in the spirit. Sometimes we can hear it. The great divine. The brothers and sisters. The brothers and sisters. The great divine. Sometimes we can feel it. Deep up in the spirit. So sometimes hear it. The great divine. Salute
The great
to my generals
divine.
and my family. Brothers and sisters.
The great divine.
Wake up music. Let's go. The great divine.
The great divine. Real talk. The great divine. Sometimes we can hear it, and we can feel it in our spirit. We take the time, we can hear it. The great divine. All right, y'all know I love music. Just ride with me, bear with me, and go through these clouds in the sky. You see here, elevate our mind. Real talk. I'm serious. Man, it's so. That's why you think we got all these warriors out here? I'm talking about the real ones now. Again, we in the righteous circles. We know who the real ones are. All right, now I played this song here recently. I made this song recently, but it's one of my favorites. I like it, and not cause I made it. I think my shit is the bomb and nothing like that. But like my son and I talked about, it's just certain songs, and I'm sure many of our great hip hop. Salute to my real genuine hip hop artists out there that love music from the toes through your soul. I'm talking about really love it, and not just hearing our voice over a beat or getting paid or being seen. No, I'm talking about. And I mean any craft, any gift, greater vision, better living, we visualize and then we do our music, right? And it's just a feeling that's can be explained, real talk. So that's what my son and I, Lord Lamont, spoke on about freestyling and, speaking off the cuff and being able to do things naturally, like, with our melanated brothers and sisters. That's what our ancestors passed. That's their gift. That our ancestors passed down to us, the natural abilities that we can do. Again, everyone has a divine ability and or skill and a choice to do righteous, because you flourish more in life when you have a righteous heart, when you have good living, especially within, through the hurdles, because that's what make a warrior and a general, right? When we're facing a storm, real talk, because again, like that advice, I gave my son Ethan. It's easy to do something bad. That's easy, but it's harder. It's sometimes, depending on who we are, it's hard to be truthful and to be honest. That takes a challenge for some of us. But when we do it, it's so rewarding on the other side. You're like, man, I'm glad I chose right. I'm glad I did right. And when you set goals and you do what we're supposed to do, things just line up. And I'm talking before the deep spiritual. That'll come later on. But we got to keep learning, keep searching, and stay away from toxicity. And, the best way we can. Because, as we all say, things coming at us at all angles, especially melanated brothers and sisters. Once we can grasp that and get a hold to it, we off and running. And we blaze through the so-called valley and get to that greater vision and better living and pass it on to others. Again, we just start seeing the little small victories that turn into big victories, and just live gracefully, like coming through the finish line. When you see somebody running track and they just, I made it. But I'm just using that as an example because there's no destination, but just little victories here and there that, just we have to breathe, do things to where we can breathe in life. Don't let this life suffocate us via media, social media, news, fear mongering, celebrity gossip. No, we be bigger than that. We above that. That's why I got that on my banner. We got to think above and beyond. We'll never know everything, but we'll be almost in alignment with that great divine. And that's the greatest place one can be. Because when we know oneself, we on fire, real talk. And we know when we are here, which is the name of this song I'm getting ready to play. And again, this is on my channel. I played this before. And I thank those that's been riding along again. Salute to one's family, my children, biological and God children. Great divine being all of our lives. Keep us protected and prospering. All right. And we know when we have arrived in a place of peace, awareness, and we standing firm like generals, brother, sister, family. All right, I'll be back after this. We are here. And this is on my channel, by the way. I just played this recently. Salute to all the great content creators and music lovers out there. Brother, sister, family. All right, we here, y'all. Enjoy it.
Yeah, for my generals, family, brothers and sisters that had fought so very hard, as well as our ancestors, to get to a foundation. You know what? Be thankful that we're here. Yeah. We got no time for fear. To my family, wipe away them tears. Gotta wipe away them tears. Be thankful that we're here. Yeah. Brothers and sisters, we got no time for fear. Yeah. Yeah. Just wipe away them tears. Just wipe away them sisters. Be thankful that we're here. Yeah. And to my family, we got no time for fear. Yeah. Yeah. Be thankful that we're here. I'm do what I got to do, and I'ma make it through. And you teach me, and I teach you. Want us to win and never ever lose. To have a clue and do what we gotta do. And know we never drop in this life, we never stop. Got that good energy through this here hip hop. Ain't no entity ever gonna stop the E. I'ma be a beast righteously. I'ma teach us all to stay free. Man, that foundation, yeah, changing every generation, yeah. With this talking, brothers and sisters, good conversation, yeah. No debate. If it's toxic, man, get out the way. Yeah, staying on this journey. Listen to what that divine say. Woo! Yeah. Be thankful that we're here. Yeah. Man, we got no time for fear. Brothers and sisters, just wipe away them tears. And my family, be thankful that we're here. Yeah. We got no time for fear. Brothers and sisters, be thankful that we're here. Yeah. To my family, just wipe away them tears. Yeah. Yeah. Be thankful that we're here. On fire, it's that divine I admire, and I want to lift us up. Man, so dang higher, never low. Yeah, my family and my sisters and my bros gotta be clear and on point, staying on our toes. Yeah. Gotta watch things around us, staying focused in this life. Stay with in these relationships. relationship and righteous with our wife. And our husbands and our sisters and our bros stay on the go. Gotta be knowledgeable and righteous in our soul. Woo! Shit. Be thankful that we're here. We got no time for fear. And my family wipe away them tears. Shit. Be thankful that we're here. We got no time for fear. Man, we got no time for fear. Sisters, just wipe away them tears. Wipe them away. Be thankful that we're here. And to my family, got no time for fear. No. Man, just wipe away them tears. Just wipe away them tears. Man, be thankful that we're here. Yeah. We got no time for fear. Man, we got no time for fear. Man, be thankful that we're here. Yeah.
Yes, I meant every word of that song, brothers and sisters. Real talk. Be thankful that we here. Like I said, we here. We have arrived. A lot of us have arrived. You know, it's unfortunate. Some is still in that. I keep saying it, the valley, but you know what I mean. But be thankful, for those who are striving to do better in life. But call down protection on those who may be having somewhat of a challenge. Because we all have been there. I just like to keep that in mind, but again, just because brothers and sisters, I got to bring this up every now and then, just because brothers and sisters are kind don't mean that they punks. We got to stop doing that. Brothers and sisters that are, we got to stop that. And as I told my son, Lord Lamont, we got to stop missing the message, and stop looking at superficial things and how somebody is. Really listen to an individual, let that intuition work for us, and that's for those in comments, chat rooms, in life in general. If something's toxic or whatever, okay, get away from it. But if we know a brother and sister, I'm talking about a speaker or something like that, in life, I'm just in general, but social media too, because I've come across some great brothers and sisters online. I just can't deny that, and stirred something up in me, and helped me get to the point. And that's, that's a great part. That's what that divine loves. We accept it, things from our brothers and sisters, and because we all in our life, I don't care who we all have had something or someone inspire us, in one way or another, so it's okay. We honor one another. It's enough gifts. It's a trillion billion gifts at Great Divine Gods for all of us. So it's stupid to fight over shit and who got numbers. It's ridiculous, So be thankful and salute yourself if you're not caught up in the rat race of the so-called matrix and you ain't no hamster on the wheel waiting on that pellet. But anyway, that's something my son and I, Lord Lamont, we discussed. We try to listen to people and, and try to be as real as we possibly can, because things are just, I'm telling you, and that way, because when you're in a space of trying to be right, at least as a brother and sister or family, you open up opportunities for yourself. When you visualize greater things in one's soul, you will develop them on the outside. It's not no cosmic thing, but we have to be serious about oneself and not doing any harm, because, karma is real, so whatever theory we have about karma, what we think, it really doesn't matter. Karma don't give a damn how we think, if we know about it, we think it's real or not. You think karma give a damn? So you just got to keep that in mind, can't just willy-nilly walk through life with no purpose, so it's a train wreck waiting to happen. But let's get away from the negative shit and step into that great part of us, whether we single, in a relationship, we can be great. We're not alone. That force is with us all the time. The great divine, Mother Nature, and that universe. What I always say, how do we know these things? A little reflection, folks. All those divine things that helped us get us to the space we're in. That's our evidence. All right, now I want to read a quote about greater vision that leads to better living, and even through the mix of so-called storms. And this is a part segment of what I read on a recent podcast I did with my son, Lord Lamont, salute. And we spoke on the human spirit and how really strong it is when we tap into it. Like when our back's against the wall, we come out swinging. And that's what we need to tap into. I'm talking about righteous, though. We come out swinging, spiritually, mentally. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Physical only if necessary. Because I always like to reiterate, and a lot of us great generals say, salute. Look at me rhyming. Every righteous brother or sister or family has a right to defend themselves, especially when they're in the right. So, because great divine don't play. It's the most powerful force we'll always experience. If we're in the right, a great divine will work with us because it knows our heart, right? Because that's what it wants. It wants our heart. That's what that energy feeds off of, our heart, because it makes that force happy. And everything moves smooth when it's positive. Negative don't move smooth. And anybody think negative moves smooth, they a damn fool. Look, I'm rhyming again. So positive always works, even through the mix of bumps and hurdles we go through. But as many of us have experienced positive energy, it taps into our immune system. So I talk about that a lot, but you have to know the human body, know yourself, study, read, research to know these things, and maybe listen to someone who has an expertise in the human body. That's good too. Again, it's always something someone else knows that we don't know. We band together and fight against what? The real enemy, as Brother Malcolm X spoke on adamantly. All right. Now I'm going to read how powerful the human spirit is. It's the second part of what I read on that father and son discussion. Blaze through the valley. All right. Here we go. The human spirit is often seen as the ability to bounce back from setbacks. Just like when you push us against the wall, we can't take it no more. We're talking about a righteous human spirit. All right. Bounce back from setbacks, so-called setbacks, and maintain, a word I say all the time, a positive outlook, greater vision in the face of adversity. This includes the capacity to learn from mistakes and continue pursuing goals despite obstacles. Courage and determination. It also involves the strength to face fears, make so-called fears, and make difficult situations and stand up for what one knows or believes in. This can be seen in individuals who overcome personal struggles, societal challenges, or even global crisis. So, and that's something my son and I spoke on. Like, I'm not special. My son's not special. A lot of us that have gotten to a place of awareness or peace, it doesn't mean that we are special or better than no one. It just means we took the time and studied oneself, because if you're taking the time to study yourself, that means you want to be better, and there's always room for improvement. We never topped off what we're done. It's always levels to go through, and that's a good thing. And everything doesn't always have to be traumatic. As I like to reiterate, learning oneself can be fun. But let me tell you something else that's amazing. When we project righteous things to others and they put it in their lives and they take our advice and it helps them. Because I kind of help my son, Lord Lamont, a little bit, and I feed off him. He helps me in areas because he's very intelligent. He's read books. You know what I'm saying? So it's a wonderful thing when we get in that space and take that damn ego out of there. And it could be fun just being a natural, normal human being. But guess what? The icing on the cake, brothers and sisters, always say, when we step over into that other world, that deeper spiritual side of us, that cosmic, powerful part of us, where our presence will speak, where people will just know that we have a good heart right off. You know what I'm saying? So it takes work to get in that space. It's easier said than done, but strive to be there. We never trying to be perfect, but we can always and forever have perfect intentions. It's wonderful. We got to study our impulses, our psyche, and, stay whole, stay focused, because it's like the more aware we become, the more the walls they try to close in on us. You know what I'm saying? It's not no game out here sometimes. We're not serious all the time, but it's not a game out here. We have fun, joy. As I always say, that's a part of the balance. And as you heard on my son's, the podcast me and him just did, it's in the preview. And we have fun. We've had, podcasts where we talk about comedy and we had goofy and stuff, because I get that from my family. I got a lot of comedians in my family. That's where I get my comedic side from. But when it's time to be a general, it's time to be a general. You got to know when it's time not to play and take care of business, But again, most of our generals, we know that. We trying to teach others that, so they can have good things and develop the power of anticipation, prevention, a life of prevention, greater vision, better living. All right, I'm going to read this other summary, and then I'm going to salute you brothers and sisters on to continue a divine warrior, fun, bright, divine life, because that's what we're striving for. Fuck the negative shit. We see it, but we don't absorb it. Learn from it and keep it moving. Keep that love. That strong warrior love. All right. Now I'm going to read the summary. What is the importance of visualization in life? Visualization is a simple technique that we can use to create a strong mental image of our future event or an image of a future event. With good use of visualization, we can practice in advance for the event so that we can prepare properly for it. And by visualization, success starts with a state of mind. I always say that we can build self-confidence. We need to perform well, so visualize and then put it into practice. Think well, and we take our time. And that goes back to meditation and or deep prayer, because that's usually when that visualization comes in. Shut out all the noise. It's very important. Again, you'll hear many great philosophers. Some are super aware, brother and sister. They do this along with having hobbies and things we love. We love what we do what we love. That could be children, skills, gifts, that's especially that, anything that's in the community. But even in our small little spaces, we out. See a homeless person, give them $1. I'm telling you, that's a ripple effect. It'll come back. See, that's something my son, Lord Lamont, and I spoke on. See, things like that, people think it's random. It's not. Sometimes we just passing up blessings, blessings or blessings. Some people say blessings, some people say blessing. And I'm telling you, you get hungry for that because it comes back. And my son and I talked about this, synchronicities. He had a divine moment with a homeless person, and it came back, because we can have good karma. There is a such thing as good karma, folks. Real talk. We can manifest good karma. It doesn't always have to be bad. It just depends on what kind of energy we hold within. As I said on the podcast about money, how our money is and how our finances is, or our life in general, determine the energy we carry within. It always come back to that. Brother, sister, family, high status, low status, it doesn't matter. It always depends on our heart, what's in that soul, and the type of energy that we are carrying, through the mix of the mistakes in the human body. Again, that's why we become a student of human nature, especially ourselves, because of this human body. And once we perfect it and mastered oneself, man, you tell me what can stop us. Real talk. So, all right. So that's just something that was in my spirit. I felt, when that divine tells me to speak, I speak. When that great divine tells me to shut up, I shut up. So, and I listen to speakers too. I bring that up every now and then. It's a brother I've been listening to. Man, he brought something out of me I never knew I had. And it's wonderful to know that. And we honor brothers and sisters, even in spirit. Just keep good vibrations the best way we can, because being negative, complaining, ain't going to do shit. It just keep you, like my son said, just keep your wheels just be spinning out. You know what I'm saying? So let's not do that, And know that some people have been through struggles or under conditioning or suffering, but it always comes back to a choice. We can be some divine warriors, or we can be a defeated. We can sit back and be defeated. No, refuse to be defeated. It's always a solution if we take the effort and reach out and grab one and send love. Keep love. General, tough love, not soft love. We got to still be warriors within as we have fun and have joy. Y'all know I got to bring that up because I had so much fun with Lord Lamont and my family and the kids. And I help my son's mom. We're not together, but I still help her. We still help. We always got to go back to that that's the empathic part of me. I can never just, even to a toxic person, I don't let that get on me. You know what I'm saying? I still think in my mind they're going through something, and I keep that teaching spirit. You always hear me say, a leader and a teacher with a student spirit. I always keep that student spirit, because as KRS One said, brothers and sisters, man, when the real being speaks within, and it's brother, sister, or family, man. And thank those for coming in to another edition of EBX Discussion. Current subscriber, new subscriber, anybody that view, and may we all keep that ultimate peace. Brother and sister, family, all over the world, wherever part of the world that we're in, may we be protected. And that's my God children, biological children, all the families out there, all over the world. Man, I'm sending that great energy through that great divine that it protect us and keep us prospering. All right, my soldiers and my warriors, I want to lead off. And I spoke on this before. I want to lead off with what KRS-One said, and salute to KRS-One for the impact of hip hop he gave, and he's on the list. I spoke on him before, and salute to those brothers I mentioned recently earlier on this podcast, the E40 and all those other artists I named. Because again, I did a video tribute to E40 and Fabulous, but it had a copyright to take it down, so I just did it on here. And all hip hop artists, especially underground brothers and sisters, whether you do music or not, I salute you. And family, I love my family. From my family to your family, man, stay protected. Connect ourselves to that divine so it can give us what we need, not just what we want. All right, so I want to lead off with what KRS-One said, and I got a video clip of him right here on my channel. Salute to KRS-One for dropping jewels. He even got a book out, and he's still making music, and he still look young. He's the epitome of black don't crack. As many other great brothers and sisters, warriors that have come through this so-called matrix, brother and sister. All right, brothers and sisters, generals, family. I'm gonna lead off with what KRS-One says. Salute KRS-One. When the real being speaks, emphasis on the real being speaks, all nature and universe responds. Remember that. Salute.